Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to another Beard Guys video. Now, we don't normally do these sort of update preview videos, normally wait till it drops and then put some content out, but this update has some seriously cool stuff in it that I wanted to share with you. I know not all of you are going to be looking at the news page or on our Discord or Twitter or whatever, so you might not have heard, but the Chieftain Tank is coming to World of Tanks Console Edition. The Chieftain Tank is going to enter World of Tanks console as a new British Tier 10 heavy tank. It's going to be additional. It's not going to replace the FV215B. It's just going to be an additional option. So there'll be 2 Tier 10 British heavy tanks you can get. We are also getting the Centurion Action X. Now, this one was announced a little while ago, so you might have already seen. This is going to be a new British Tier 10 medium tank. It's going to replace the FV4202. The FV4202 is going to become a Tier 8 premium tank, and it will be adjusted stats-wise accordingly. So if you're interested, I will put the full details down below. You can have a read through all the stuff that I'm sort of going over quickly today. But if you're interested in the details around how the FV4202 is going to work, if you already own it, very briefly, if you already own the Tier 10 FV4202 and you have it in your garage at the time of the update, you'll be given the Centurion Action X and the premium FV4202 with garage slot. So you'll get both those tanks. If you have owned the FV4202 in the past, but now have sold it, so it's not in your garage, you'll still get given the premium version of that tank, but you won't be given the Centurion Action X. You'll have that researched in the tech tree, but you'll have to rebuy it with silver. So if you've bought the FV and then sold it, don't worry, you don't have to rush out and buy it. You can just wait. You don't have to grind up another 200,000 XP or whatever. You can just wait and then you can buy it with silver when it comes out. You'll also get the FV4202 premium tank for free, so that's pretty cool. Tier 8 British premium tank. They haven't really specified when, if that's going to be available to buy. My hunch is it certainly will be available to, well, that's more than a hunch, I guess if I say certainly, but it feels very likely that that will be available for people to buy. I mean, there's hardly any British premium tanks available, so I feel it's very likely they will sell the FV4202 premium at some stage. But they haven't announced that it's going to go on sale now, so I guess it's not going to be on sale straight away. You might have to wait a little while. I know a lot of people are grinding like crazy to get that unlocked before Thursday, which also is when the update is going to drop. They just announced today there's going to be server downtime on Thursday the 15th of September. That's this Thursday. And they are going to roll out the update on Thursday. So that's going to go down normal sort of times. I'll put the link down below to the forum post so you can go and have a look. So also worth noting that if you have the FV4202 and in your garage and you then get the Centurion Action X, it's going to move your crew and tank XP over to the Centurion Action X, and it's also going to move your battle stats, marks of excellence, emblems, inscriptions, camouflage, and all equipment to the new CAX. Seems kind of weird that you move the marks and the battle stats because it's a different tank, but there you go, whatever. Maybe that was the easiest thing to do, or they thought that's what people would like. We also have the armor viewer. We've got armor and component viewer in-game, and basically what it is a thing where you can view any tank you've got. You can kind of spin it around and it will show you what the armor thickness is on different areas of your tank, and it will kind of adjust it depending on the angle you're turning your tank as well. So so that sounds very cool, and it's going to be very useful. You're also able to view the modules within your tank and where they're placed, so you can use it as a way of researching where your weak spots are and hard spots and try and use those to your advantage or protect them. And also you can try and guard against module damage by knowing where you don't want to get shot to lose your ammo or whatever. You can also use it as research to try and take people down. You can find out where weak spots are that you want to target on enemy tanks. It does sound like at the moment you're only able to use the armor inspector on tanks that you have in your garage, so there's a pretty annoying kind of downside to it, but I'm really hoping that they'll find a way to change it so you can just view it for any tank, because that's really what it's going to be super useful for. At the moment, it's going to be, I don't know, it's going to be a little bit fiddly, a little bit frustrating not being able to view stuff until you've bought it already. But still very, very useful and a big step getting that implemented, and hopefully they can build on that in the future. So we also have a couple of new maps coming, or at least a new map and a variant. One is, I don't know how you say this, but Thiepval Ridge. Well, you don't say Vidge. I think this is going to be the map variant. It's a version of the map that is going to be featured in the Trench Warfare mini game that's coming over the next few weekends, where you use the Mark 1, the 100 Years of Tanks kind of mini game. I think that's what they mean how they've written this in the news article. I might be wrong, but that's my impression. Certainly looks like the way. But it's a cool looking map by the look of it. It's set in France during World War I. Lots of craters, bunkers. Looks pretty cool from the couple of pictures they've shared. Also, we're going to get Pacific Island Typhoon, which is another weather variant version of Pacific Island. Looks pretty cool. You have reduced visibility. Hopefully, I mean, from the screenshots, it looks kind of like medium visibility rather than the really savage visibility you get on Sandstorm and Blizzard. So that'd be interesting to see. Interested to see how that one pans out. I think it will certainly look cool, and people will have to play it and decide whether it's actually an enjoyable game mode for them to play. Another very cool thing that's coming out with this, well, cool to some of the more hardcore guys anyway, a lot of you probably don't care, but you'll be able to double stack a lot of your consumables that you couldn't do before. So previously, like, I know people who run a large repair kit and a small repair kit on certain tanks, so they have 2 bites of that cherry, but now you'll be able to stack 2 small repair kits, 2 small first aid kits, etc, etc. You can't stack everything, not everything can be used twice, like, I don't know, I think the country-specific consumables, premium consumables like coffee and tea and that kind of crap, you can't have 2 of. It does say you can have 2 large repair kits, but you can have 2 large repair kits or 2 large first aid kits, but the passive bonus doesn't stack. So you'll have the benefit of being able to repair all of your modules twice, which is pretty badass, if a little expensive. But you won't get a 20% passive bonus like you might expect from having 2 of those. Same fire extinguisher, you can have 2. The fire extinguisher one I don't really get, because it says here the bonus doesn't stack and only 1 fire extinguisher will activate automatically if set on fire. Oh, does it mean they won't just both activate the first time? Does it mean only once? I guess maybe it means they won't both just go off at the same time, although you wouldn't expect that to happen, really. Hopefully it's that, otherwise it's kind of really pointless putting that in, because why would you do it? But yeah, so that's cool. You can have two small repair kits like if you want. I think that's going to be a pretty popular thing on certain tanks. You can also have 2 Lend-Lease oil or 2 quality oil, and those bonuses do stack, so that's kind of interesting. I'm sure people are going to come up with some interesting strats around that. Some of the other cool stuff they've added in around the, I'm not sure what view this is, just maybe the normal garage view now, but it's kind of mentioned down around the armor and component view area. But some of the other little bits you might not have noticed are that you now have a lot of your stats for your tanks listed as actual numbers. So rather than before, you got this kind of vague bar and you didn't really know what the camo value or the whatever value of your tank was. They now have lovely raw numbers. Those aren't affected by equipment and stuff like that, and it's only for the packages that are applied to a tank at the time. But that's cool, so that'll be interesting to, hopefully we'll find out a bit more information about tanks that we may not have known before, or at least make that a bit more visible to players that don't go and dig through wikis and stuff like that. There's also a bunch of other small things they've added in. There's some Spectator Mode stuff. It sounds like they've made it so you can hide the HUD on Spectator Mode, which I was moaning about recently. So thank you for listening to my moaning. Not many people do. There's a few other bits. A countdown for when bundles expire in the store, which is pretty cool, or a promotion. That's nice because sometimes the times they expire are quite difficult to work out because of time zones and that kind of thing. We've also got some updated maps. They're kind of in the footnotes here, but I can't really talk about them, but I've seen the updates for a couple of these maps, and they're fairly extensive and certainly looked pretty promising from a first glance. So be interesting to see how those play out. Look forward to having a go on a reworked Abbey and Prokhorovka, and the Sacred Valley War has been updated to the recently changed version. Also, we've got a couple of cheeky little vehicle buffs. We've got the Kanonen Jagdpanzer has had its pen increased from 212 to 238, which is glorious, as well as its aim time decreased from 2 seconds to 1.8. So I'll definitely be taking out my Cannon Paz for another little run. The T50-2 has also had its chassis traverse increased from 48 to 45 and reduced terrain resistance. There's a whole big list of additional features which probably aren't super interesting. There's a lot of maps that have had flags and spawns moved around slightly. They've removed flank left and right radial commands you'll be incredibly disappointed to hear. You know, and a few other little bits and bobs that aren't too exciting but useful little additions. There's also a big list of bug fixes, which I'm not going to bother to read through because I don't really care, but there are, I think one of them I saw mentioned is they've hopefully fixed the spawning under the map on highway issue, which I know a lot of you will be pleased with, and there's a bunch of visual fixes on vehicles as well. So I think that's the contents of the update pretty well covered. Let me know if you enjoyed the video. Give it a like or leave a comment, even better. It's kind of interesting. We don't really do these normally, but if you found it useful, I thought it might be useful because I don't think everyone checks the website. So a lot of you guys who watch this, hopefully this might have been some news to you. And it saved you sitting there reading. If you really hate reading, you can just listen to me read it to you in my lovely dulcet tones. So what am I most excited about in the update? I think it's got to be the Chieftain tier 10 is pretty crazy and hype. I'm trying to find some way that I can get some early footage of that without just having to spend hundreds of pounds free XPing or weeks and weeks grinding, because I'm back at work now, so I don't really have much time. Also very excited about the armor and module view. I think that's going to be awesome. I think if new players and maybe the players who aren't as hardcore into the game as guys like me are, who like spend ages looking at all the tank stats and stuff like that, I think for those casual players it could hopefully, fingers crossed, maybe like improve the level of play slightly, because people are going to become much more aware of what their vehicle's strengths and weaknesses are, and also the strengths and weaknesses around other vehicles, which I don't think people are as aware at the moment as they could be. So nice one. Thank you very much for watching, guys. I have no idea what I'm going to show in the background during that. It's not going to be just the website for 15 minutes, so I'll dig out some footage. Hopefully it's been something epic. Why not? Let's just pretend it was. Oh my god, that round was amazing. Excellent. Nice one. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time.